Hey guys, Adam Bartomeo here with Bartomeo Realty. I'm the broker here that we do things a lot differently than most brokerages out there. You probably heard a little bit about my story, so I'm not going to get too much into that. But today we're going over the as-is residential contract for purchase and sale for a property. That's 99% of what we do here at Bartomeo Realty. We work with some lots and we work with some multifamily, and I do have an investor background, so let me know if you have any questions about any of that. Today we are on page 3. We're going to talk a little bit about closing costs. That often comes up. The question I get is, who's paying the closing costs? Well, it depends. Everything in real estate is negotiable, believe it or not. But how the contract is written and who pays for what is in there, but that is negotiable, and we can figure that piece out. And then we're also going to go over quickly title evidence and insurance. So on page 3, you can see right here, it talks about the buyer and the seller. And I'm going to read some of this off, not everything. The seller, what are they responsible for? They're responsible for dock stamps. Dock stamps is basically Florida's tax on any time you sell a property. Somebody has to pay that. That is the seller who pays that. Title, owner's policy, and then title insurance. We talked about that in the last one. Who pays for that? It's usually the seller. If there was a lien search to be done on the property, a lien could be anything from a mechanic's lien where you did not pay your roofer and they could place a mechanic's lien on there, to your mortgage becomes a lien and they have that right to foreclose on that property. So the lien search will be paid for them. HOA, estoppel fees. Estoppel fees is where the HOA provides information to the title company. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but who pays for that search? That would be the seller. And then if the seller had an attorney, they would also pay for those fees as well. What does the buyer pay for? The buyer pays for a lot of stuff, mostly because it's on their end. The majority of closing costs are on their end. So anything that has to do with the mortgage, so points on the mortgage, application fees, survey, inspections, all this kind of stuff is all paid for by the buyer. So who pays for the closing costs? The buyer pays for most of that in most states, but the title search and the title insurance is typically paid for by the seller. There's other things on here as well that the buyer does pay for, but just be aware it is written in the contract what they are paying for, but it is all negotiable. I pay for the inspection on the home inspection on a lot of the transactions because that's what I do. I want to make sure my buyers buy a good house, and I want to make sure my sellers are selling a good house to that buyer and they're not leaving anything out there that they might have forgotten about or don't even know about. The last part is the title evidence and insurance. This is where I say we, but the title company makes sure that the seller is the seller and they are who they say they are. They're not selling the Brooklyn Bridge here, and they do have the right to sell that property and then also insure the property. That it is insurable. So that's what that is all about, and they give you a deadline as far as meeting that. And also you have a spot there to check off who pays for some of those closing costs. Again, typically in Lee County, it is the seller, but there's a box to be checked that it could be the buyer at that point for the title search and the title insurance. So keep that in mind. That box is crucial, that you know which box is being checked, because that'll increase or decrease your closing costs by a few $1,000s. So that's page number 3. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Adam Bartomeo, Bartomeo.com, Facebook Bartomeo, YouTube Bartomeo, or just Google me and you'll find all my information. 239-220-0735. Have a great day, guys.